Another Mr. B's Thursday here at CycloneFanatic.com. I'm Chris Williams. He is Tim Sitzman, as always, is hanging out here. Tim's first time I've ever been in your store in the afternoon hours.
You know, you walked in, your eyes were wide open, you were ready to go. I thought this is a fun. We might do this again.
I think we're gonna have to.
It's great.
Because I just moved to Ames. So, I used to just be right down the road from you.
I know it.
So now we're going to have to schedule these things.
You know, I'm a little busier in the afternoon most of the time, and today's no exception. I want to invite you to Mr. B's. We've had a wonderful spring, and our store's still full of fine merchandise. And I'll just put a shout out to all you Cyclone fanatics. Come on in and see me, say hello, and take a look at our store. We'd love to have you.
So I walk in today, and Tim and the crew here at Mr. B's, they're chatting, and you'll never guess what's on their mind. Conference, realignment, and Big Ten expansion. You know what? It doesn't matter if you're walking your dog. It doesn't matter if you're at the grocery store. It doesn't matter if you're just cruising around online. That's all anybody's talking about right now.
There's no question about it, other than I'm talking about your wedding a little bit. But I was talking about the conferences and what they're trying to do. And, you know, I'll go back a long ways with me. Being a kid and watching baseball and having these guys come up through the ranks and go all the way and stay with the team, that's over in baseball. It's probably over in football. And we're seeing that's now hitting the college campuses, that it's about money, Chris, isn't it?
It's all about cash.
It's about cash, and you might say this, that as I look at the Big 12, what they're talking about out there about breaking it up and then combining with Big 10, I think the Big 10 may have a nose head start on the country because of that network. What do you think on that?
I think basically it comes down to this. Bloggers out there, myself included, a lot of newspaper writers, doesn't matter who you are, you don't know what you're talking about.
We don't know anything right now.
Nobody knows what they're talking about. And I would venture to guess that if Jamie Pollard were here right now, he wouldn't know what's going to happen. No. Nobody knows what's going to happen. And it's fun to speculate. I mean, I'll jump right in and debate and talk about, well, if this happens, what would happen to Iowa State? But at the end of the day, it's all speculation. Nobody has a clue other than probably like 5 people in the Big Ten offices and maybe a few conference presidents and maybe athletic directors. And that's another misconception, Tim.
Right.
This is over Jamie Pollard's head.
It's a big deal.
This is the presidents and the chancellors. Those are the people making these decisions.
And it's more than about athletics. It's about the scholastic things. It's about a lot of different things, and it's a huge deal. And I agree with you. I could throw out a ton of ideas and opinions. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Nobody does.
I really don't. I hope for the Iowa State Cyclones that, as you said off camera before, that they've been competitive up and down the sports arena in men's and women's, and maybe more so than Iowa has been in the Big Ten. But quite frankly, it's bigger than that even. It's bigger than that. It's about dollars, and it's about the ability to get people sitting in front of the TV watching sports.
I was asked yesterday in my weekly mailbag, in my opinion, what would be the best case scenario for Iowa State? Best case scenario for Iowa.
What do you think?
Stay in the Big 12, but it's got to be an equally revenue-sharing Big 12. You can't have Texas taking this much of the pot where Iowa State gets this much, because right now in sports, Iowa State can be competitive with Texas, but if you keep that up over the course of 5 years and then over 10 years, that margin is going to get wider and wider, and before you know it, it's absolutely impossible.
You know, in my whole regurgitation of this subject is kind of ridiculous, because I really don't know. I could speculate that, you know, there's talk that Texas is going to do it by themselves and have a Texas network with all the teams in Texas. And there's so much gobbledygook out there. And I, for one, think that the Big 12 will stay intact. I really do. If I'm going to give an opinion here today, they'll stay intact. I think that the Rutgers thing out there makes some sense, and Notre Dame makes some sense from the Big Ten. But that's sense. It's not what's going to happen. I want to be clear about that.
Yeah.
And you know, when they start breaking apart the Big 12, who knows what's going to. And there's talk that Colorado's going to the Pac-10. I don't know, you guys, and I want you to settle down. Iowa State will have a competitive football team, a competitive basketball team, competitive sports in general, and they'll be in some conference.
They'll land on their feet, and you know what, Tim? Maybe when this all is hashed out 5-10 years from now, Iowa State very easily could be in a better position where they're making more money due to revenue sharing, where they're in a conference where they don't have to compete with a team like a Texas who's got this much money compared to theirs.
Right.
it might be a positive for Iowa State at the end of the day.
We just don't know how the cards are going to be dealt. But I do think if all this gobbledygook is coming from somewhere, all this speculation is coming from somewhere, and the Big Ten is going to do something. They want a playoff system. I believe that to be true, in my opinion. And so they're going to reach out and try to grow that conference, whether it's in 2 years, whether it's in 4 years. I believe something's going to happen in the Big Ten. How that affects the Big 12, I don't know.
All up in the air.
It's up in the air, and it is about money. And I know schools need it because of all the sports that they put on the field, from canoeing or rowing to.
Oh yeah.
But it takes money and it takes revenue. We can't be naive to that, Chris.
No.
And so the football, basketball programs tend to feed a lot of those programs. And I'm in favor, actually, of women's athletics, and I believe that they should be able to participate. So I hope that this works for Iowa State in a positive manner.
It very well could. Tim, any hot deals coming up this weekend?
Well, you know, I got a little secret for you next week, and we'll talk about it next week. But you got to hang on. You got to wait till next week.
Check it out next week. An exclusive offer.
Yes.
Here at Mr. B's.
And I'll invite you, you fanatics, to come in next week, but you got to listen in next week.
All right, tune in next week. Tim's going to drop a bomb on you.
You're good.
As far as
maybe in the afternoon again, Chris.
Maybe in the afternoon, because it's going to be right before the wedding.
That's right.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Looking forward to it. Tim Setzman, thanks a lot. Here at Mr. B's, 1995 Northwest 86th Street in beautiful Clive, Iowa.